Hi guys and gals, it's Pete, Mindwiseman's channel, aka Maverick Outdoors, and just set up a basha tarp, Apex style. It's Saturday, the Easter bank holiday weekend, the beginning of April 2012, so I've just quickly set up my pitch and I'm just going to go and search out some firewood now. Lots of dry grass to start the fire, get it going. Good thing with white willow, even in damp weather, it really dries out quick, so because this time of year it's not actually overgrown. Give it another couple of months and all this round here will all be loads of different green shrubbery all growing up. But as you can see here, nice lot of firewood, all dead stuff. Also around the back of my basha there's some dead goosegrass, cleavers. Beauty of this stuff is that it grows and then dies off in an upright position, so I can make balls of that, and that's going to be really easy to start the fire, nice and dry. Was it? You heard them, did you? I think there's some other people on the other side of the island that are cracking bits of wood, and obviously I can smell the breeze is slightly coming this way, so I'm sort of downwind, so to speak. And I can smell sort of like a fire, and it's not coming out of a wood burner from some of the houseboats that are around it. It's a different sort of aroma. So somewhere over there are some other peeps, probably having a nice weekend out. Considering the majority of the day's been really overcast, it's really cleared up nicely now, so I think it's going to be a mild evening, but I think it's going to be a bit fresh. Be a bit cool. So anyway, here's all the wood. I'm going to prepare that in a little while because I'm not actually going to be cooking my dinner tonight on the fire. I want to do it quickly, so I'm going to be doing it on the one-man stove. What I'm going to do with this video, I'm just going to do sort of a lot of bullet points really. You know, if you've been following my travels over the past 6-12 months, you'd have seen this island number 2 before and all the other places where I've wild camped, but I'm just going to do some sort of bullet points on just highlighting maybe some other things with my kit and how I'm going to cook, and recipes instead of just dried food, add water, really boring, and maybe an OXO cube if you got one. I'm going to show you a bit of cordon bleu in a little while. Ground sheet, enough space for me to sleep on this main part, the main 2/3, then on this side to put bits of kit. But when you lay the ground sheet, as you're most probably aware, underneath the tarp is always have it slightly inside, so where the drop fall is if it does rain and the water comes down. By just missing, it goes straight into the ground, whereas if the tarp came right up to the edge in line with the tarp, then obviously the water's going to drip on the tarp, and odds will have it, it won't drip out onto the ground. It will always drip in, even if there's a fall going outwards. Somehow the water will still get in. So ground sheet just slightly in, either side, either end from the edges of the tarp. Dry sack there, it's 100 litre. It's got all my any change of clothing, my sleep kit, sleeping bag, softy trousers, softy jacket, and then in here is all my food. You've seen this bag before. It's my shelter kit, so I've got a clip-ons, bundle of clip-ons there if I need them. Different lengths of paracord that I know are specific to setting up the shelter, so they're already pre-measured. I'll have my bungee cords in there as well. Bit of camo netting. That's the shelter I'll use if it does rain to put over the fire. Ground sheet was folded up in that bag, and so also was the tarp. All in there in my kit bag for my shelter. You'd have seen this pack before as well on my cook kits, parts 1 to 4. I've got in here saucepan and also the kettle, stainless steel kettle, and also my one-man stove. But I actually kept this separate. Sometimes I'll put this in there, but for one reason or another I kept this separate, connected those together, and then just hooked it and put it straight in, so it's like a handle, although I've got a big longer strap for that if I want to put it over my shoulder. If you've seen parts 1 to 4 of the cook kits and trail food cooking apparatus, you'd have seen this little bag. So what I brought with me is a lid for the saucepan, that's the kettle, turn it upside down, there's the lid, there's a little handle that springs on there, And of course the saucepan's in here with the folding handles, so that folds up. But the kettle, this is just a bit of revision really. This kettle came in this bag, and then when I got these saucepans, there's a smaller one that fits in here, but I don't use it, so it's just this one and that with a lid and that kettle. And I was hoping when I got this kettle I'd sort of taken some measurements. Obviously that fits in, the lid goes in there, and everything fits in that bag. So once that's zipped up, I can have in this bag little mini frying pan, that saucepan and kettle. Okay, so it's Saturday evening. I'm going to knock up some scoff now. So I'm going to actually cook it in this. I just acquired this recently, a stainless steel mess tin, and I'm going to finely slice some onion. Also carrot has been pre-washed, so I'll slice that thinly. And I've got some sweet corn. I'm going to use this tin of mushrooms, just half of it, and then save the other half for tomorrow night's meal. So it's going to be mushrooms, sweet corn. I've got some deboned and de-skinned chicken thigh meat in there, so I prepped that before I left home. And in here I'm eventually going to season it with Blue Dragon. I bought 3 packs of these for £1, which is about $1.50, and it's like a sweet chili and garlic sauce, so it's liquid, so I'm going to add that in right at the last minute. And then this here, I just brought the label so you could see what it is, because it's actually not marked on this. And I got this cheap. It was, I think, from one of the pound shops that sells lots of well, lots of anything really, and they had some food, and I think this was something like 79 pence, which is about something like $1, $1.50, and buy 2 for £1. So this is already cooked, so this has just got to be heated up, so it means not much fuel, and that's what it is. Okay, I've finished my dinner. That was really nice, that meal. Washed it down with a nice cup of tea. And now I'm wearing my hat kindly given to me to keep the chill off my head from Nick of Whitetail Bushcraft. So thanks for that, Nick. I'm now wearing it and sitting in front of the fire. It's now Easter Sunday morning. Kept the fire going till about 1:30, 2 o'clock last night, and from that time till about dawn there was some very light showers of rain. It wasn't anything too drastic or dramatic, and there was a very slight breeze as well, but if the breeze had kicked up and the rain had got any heavier, then I'd have lowered the tarp, brought it down. So then of course my shelter was less elevated as high, and there was less chance of rain blowing in underneath. But of course having it up this height is a nice and practical living space, but I would have changed it if the weather had got a little bit more inclement. I went through about 3 stages last night when I was sleeping. First of all, I was just laying on my inflatable mattress with my softy trousers over my normal cargo daywear trousers, and I had a t-shirt, just ordinary zipper fleece, and this camo fleece. I was just laying on top of the mattress, and it started to get a bit cooler, so I thought, right, okay, what I'll do is I'll put my camo fleece, as you can see the hood, homemade one. If you've not seen it before, I did a video of it. It's homemade and made out of fleece material, so you can check that out if you haven't seen it before, and how I made it. Really basic, really straightforward, but really practical and lightweight bit of kit. I put that on, and then decided to put, then if you can see, my green softy jacket as well. So I was laying down on the mattress and I thought, oh, that'll do, don't have to get in the sleeping bag. Then I woke up about 4 o'clock in the morning and I thought, I need the sleeping bag. So I put the sleeping bag on. Then I thought, what else can I have to keep me warm? And lo and behold, hello Karsh. Didn't have a hot water bottle, so I used the dog. Or shall I say, maybe the dog used me for a bit of warmth and comfort. Didn't you? Yeah, I think you did. Okay, just a little quick bullet point on my, just really my utility fanny bag bum bag. Just really showing you what's in it just for today. I do have a first aid kit, which is in this pouch here. It's my main first aid kit in that rucksack just there. But in here I've got sunglasses, ibuprofen, paracetamol, just for last emergency, quick response, vitamin tablets, some plaster, some ties. You'll notice this little pouch was the one that I used for when I did the Brecon, just as a utility pouch. And in the front, there's a little keyring strap. And attached to that in that pouch are my car keys and my house keys. Then this pouch is attached to this one that I can actually use. Put extra bits when I'm actually going out on the trail, but these are permanently in here. Little Arkansas sharpening stone for my knife. Small little multi-tool. What have I got in here? Cigarette lighter. Got some tinder in this little back pouch here, and then my phone is in that one. And then strapped to the belt is the pouch for this camera that I'm holding. On a previous video when I wild camped here a little time ago, I mentioned about sort of camp security. I'm not going to go into the sort of total whys and wherefores at this moment, and I'm not going to show you exactly where all my little security points are, but if you imagine this path here is like main access, and it comes from the riverbank and it comes down here. It's obviously been trodden down by people in the past, but you can see I've put some very brittle bits of wood all along the path, and I've even blocked it further over there. I always assess any access points that could get to where I'm sighted. You know, you don't know who's around. I've got some other areas behind me, just where I'm standing now, which could be access points, but you've either got to be a monkey climbing and swinging over trees, and then like some sort of wildebeest travelling through the savannah to actually get to the reverse end of my my pitch. But also I sort of survey all the way around, and of course different times of year. Obviously this time of year the green is just starting to grow back, so there's not really much foliage, as you can see on the trees. And of course ground level will start to grow up further as well, so of course you're more visible, you're easily accessible when there's less foliage around. But considering last night, from about 10 o'clock to just before I settled, there were night canoeists out on the rivers, obviously up to no harm, out for a nice weekend jaunt, bit of nighttime paddling, done it myself. It's really great. It was nice actually to know that there was people out paddling. Instead of being sort of nice and cosy indoors, decided to come out on the rivers and paddle, you know, in the dark. Obviously safety, they had all the lights, so of course I could see the lights and I could hear their voices, because the waterways tends to acoustically make sound travel, so what sounds very, very near can actually be quite distant. But obviously I don't know who the canoeists are. They might have wanted to pitch up near where I am, maybe seen a bit of light and were a bit nosy, maybe not knowing that I was here, and then sort of stumbling across my pitch. So yeah, just a little bit of just environmental awareness really. Of course, if I don't hear the cracking of the twigs underneath people's feet as they walk towards me, Karsh, she can sense, and as I said before, she's got about 4 different types of body language that I can sense, whether it's a human being, a wild animal, a dog, or anything else for that matter. So she keeps her ears pricked, don't you? Okay, after I'd eaten the chicken and rice dish last night, which I'd cooked in the stainless steel mess tin, I did actually rinse it out and then sort of just left it down there with some of my other stuff. But I'm just giving it a proper rinse now. I've just struck up the a single burner stove and boiled up some water, and as you can see was with a spoon, giving it a little scour around, got rid of the worst of it. It would have sort of sanitized it by boiling the water, so that's okay. And I'm then going to knock up, maybe not the best of gourmet food, but an all-day breakfast style tin which is already cooked. It's got bits of sausage, potato, sort of reconstituted pork, mushrooms, beans, all that sort of thing. Got some bread to make some toast, and I've got some real butter, so it's going to be buttered toast, all day breakfast out of tin. And once I've rinsed that out, cooking it in a stainless steel mess tin. Just had a nice carton of orange juice, and now I'm just ready to knock up the toast before I heat up the tin of breakfast. Just a quick bullet point on MRE meals ready to eat food. You can go into sort of well-known high street hiking shops, outdoor pursuit suppliers of different kit and all that, and without saying any of the names of the foods, you can get pre-packed little sachets of food in a plastic bag, which is then inside that is a foil wrapped sachet, which virtually contains exactly the same sort of sausages, reconstituted, and beans, and that's going to cost you anything from £3 upwards, and that tin of food cost me £1. Mushrooms, potato, and I've added my own little extra touch, a bit of tomato sauce. Bushcrafting wild campers breakfast. Bring it on. £3 from Wilkinson's, $4.50 US. Okay, as you can see, my inflatable mattress has seen better days on the actual seams where the sort of pillow part is. You can see I've sort of repaired it over a period of time with rubberized glue, and I think it's giving way. It did deflate last night and I had to get up and blow it up, although there's a little foot thingy just there. You just press that and it pumps it up. But anyway, that's seen better days, so you know, the wind's started to kick up now. You can see it's starting to blow into the tarp, so but hopefully the breeze is going to blow the rain over. But even so, I'm going to set up a shelter over the fire pit in a little while. But what I've done is I've just harvested some dry grass, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift up the ground sheet and put it underneath there, so that if mattress, odds on, it will deflate. At least I've got a little bit of insulation against the ground, because otherwise I'm going to get cold. So I'm going to pad that underneath the ground sheet now. As you can see, just in case, we are, it is scheduled to maybe rain this evening and tomorrow morning, so I'll put the shelter up to protect the fire pit. The old goose grass will dry it up. I mean, that'll go up, combust really easy once I put the old fire steel on it. These are around the edge of the fire pit, mainly so they're drying out from last night, but I must re-put those on the fire later. But I've got enough stuff now. Kindling, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4 wood, and say set up the fire pit shelter just in case it does rain, because I'm going to be sort of up till about 1, 2 in the morning at least. While there's enough daylight, I'll just quickly show you the fixings. It's slightly different from the last time when I was here, and I had the shelter. I actually had this pinned up and it came down onto this bungee fixing with a tarp. If it gets inclement weather tonight, I'm going to be bringing this all the way down, so it means dropping all the 4 corners down. So I want this to be independent, so I've just fixed this over round here, round that branch, and as you can see the other corner that slopes down, just a bungee cord. And on the other side, that's what I did before, a little notch. I might reinforce that later, but at least it's up and running, ready to take effect from now, but I might just reinforce that again in a little while. And then up here is this bit of stick that I procured from last time, keep it up camouflage against another branch, and then of course it's paracorded all the way down. But I moved this one across, which has got this upright basha pole, so it gives me a bit more space, because originally this one came out here and of course I'd be tripping over the guy lines, so I've got a nice easy space to sort of walk through, and that's the fixings. Okay, this is what I'm going to be cooking up for my dinner tonight. Just to show you the packet: Ainsley Harriet Mediterranean fusion bulgur wheat. And it's got sunflower seeds, dried vegetables, all that sort of thing, all nice and spicy and tangy. That's in that packet, and that's the bulgur wheat. Put them both in the mess tin in cold water, mix it up, bring it to the boil, and then simmer for about 10 minutes or until all the water absorbs into the bulgur wheat and the dry tangy mix. And then I'm going to add what's left over of the tinned mushrooms, tin of sweet corn, the magic spicy mix that's in there I always carry with me, and then here is a wedge of the venison smoked sausage that I got from Nick from Whitetail Bushcraft. You've seen I featured on Trail Food video a little while ago. So cheers Nick, gonna be chopping that up and mixing it with that. Yummy. Alright guys, as you can see I'm standing underneath a little, what looks like a glow stick, but it's not. It's a torch. It flashes, switch it off. There's a torch at one end, sort of LED bulb. Then you press it a second time and it lights this little tube. I know you can't see it, you can't really appreciate it, but it gives a really nice ambient light without it sort of drawing attention to yourself, and plus well, it's underneath the apex of the tarp, and I've fixed it with a bit of gaffer tape, so it's just hanging there. £1 from the pound shop. The battery is supposed to last about anything from 10 to 15 hours, but considering once you snap a glow stick, it's going to be going for anything for 5 to 10 hours, and you can't sort of switch it off unless you stuff it in a pocket or something, but you can just switch that on and off as and when you need to. As you can see, I've got a roaring fire, but you might see it reflecting in the background there. And what I've done is I've just put on the corner as a barrier against the breeze, but also to reflect the heat over, one of those foil thermal medi blankets. And there's a bit of greenwood pole which I've just simply tied it there at the top and the bottom, then it goes across into that corner, and you can see there's a green stick there. It's just folded round it and then straight over to here on this final stick here, where I've just fastened it down that bit of green stick, fastened there, and it's a little bit of bushcraft central heating. Okay, it's UK bank holiday Monday morning of the Easter weekend, and last night it did rain, so I lowered the profile of the tarp, but as you can see, the mattress started to deflate last night. I did inflate it once, but I put a foil blanket underneath, the one that I had around the fire pit, so I think the what with the dried grass underneath, which did help, it had the feeling that it at least reduced the cold factor from the ground by about 50%, so I think that served me well. You can see I lowered the profile of the basha from the centre. Instead of that being double looped, I just single looped it so the full length of the bungee came down to the clip-on. This end here was obviously down here, but I was getting a little bit of pooling of water just there and there, so I just took this up with the extendable basha pole, saw the fall of the water's going off and nowhere's pooling on the surface. You can see I took this right down. The loop of the paracord, always put it over the top of the loop of the tarp. If the loop of the tarp goes over, the wind's obviously going to blow it up. Much for stating the obvious really, but just to remember, the loop of the paracord or whatever you're fixing is going down over the top so that nothing comes up. This fixing was originally up there, so obviously slid it down, which then took this corner lower. I decided to, at the midpoint, fix this to draw it out more this way, and it's also the same the other side as well. Originally this back fixing was up here, disconnected it and then strapped it round here to bring this corner down. This is down here, wrapped around this part of the tree, when originally it was up here or else connected to here, so that's dropped all the way down. And then you can see the fixing just there going down, and as you can see I've brought the canoe from over that side over to here and just laid it across here, so it was a barrier because the breeze did kick up last night and it was coming this direction, so that was a little bit more of a barrier and kept me more protected with the inclement weather that built up a little bit last night. Okay, late yesterday afternoon I went to find some more wood for the fire, obviously for last night, and then also at the same time I procured some for the next time I'm here. There was a lot of dead wood on the ground, really good quality wood to burn, albeit it's dead, and stood it up, so for the next time I'm here, at least if there's any rain or adverse weather conditions, at least it's going to stay dry, reasonably dry, than actually just leaving it on the ground. So I made a couple of sites dotted around the island where I've procured some wood for future use, and then late last night I did the same thing. I went for a walk just before going to sleep, and Car, she's been alright, but you know, normally if you've seen us before out and about, you know, she starts nicking me firewood and runs away with it and absconds it and gives it a chew. She's only done that twice this weekend, and then yesterday she was you know, sort of a bit reserved, and then when we went for the late night walk last night she just wasn't interested, and I think she's not that she's injured herself or anything, I've checked her over, she's fine. But the past week she's sort of been a bit off, but I thought this weekend she'd be okay. So I'm not going to hang around. I would have stayed here until sort of nightfall, whether it's raining or not. But I'm actually going to get on the move. I'm going to make some breakfast, make some porridge on the old stainless steel mess tin, get that down my throat, and then I'm going to strike down camp and get back, because I don't want to keep her out longer than she needs be, and I think she's going to be better off at home in her bed. Okay, I'm just knocking up some porridge, and what I decided to do is one of these, what's called a medley biscuit. It's got hazelnuts, oats, chocolate, grains and that sort of thing. And what I've done, while it's in the packet, I've sort of squashed it up into granules, so it sort of really softens it up and breaks it up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it in there, mix it up, so I've got hazelnut and chocolate flavoured oats. All finished, all packed up, ready to go. So it's OOS, out of sight, OOM, out of mind, LNT, leave no trace. So thanks for watching the Easter weekend wild camp, and as I always say to YouTube outdoorsies, keep being out there, be out there and be safe, and I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers.